What's happening, everybody, and welcome to the 24th floor. We are stepping into June, which is when Penny Hardaway says he likes to have his roster in place. We'll talk about what that looks like with one Gabe Kuhn now that PJ Haggerty has committed elsewhere, and we'll hear from a hometown Tiger, Curtis Givens III, on what it means to be donning the blue and black. That and more on the 24th floor. Let's rock. Joining me on the show today is none other than the one, the only Gabe Kuhn, host of The Gabe Kuhn Show. You can catch him from 4 to 7 p.m. every weekday on 92.9 ESPN. Gabe, what's happening, brother? I know you got big plans. It's Italian Festival weekend.
It's Italian Festival weekend. I'm going to bring my son out there for the first time, have him enjoy the ambiance. Well, he can't really have the Italian food, but I'll say the Italian food. But what about you? I mean, I invited you to come by this weekend at some point. Enjoy yourself. What do you think?
I really don't have Saturday plans, brother. I mean, we can make it happen. That's what you're trying to do.
Hey,
I mean, I love a good pasta as much as the next guy. You know, a bratwurst maybe. I can do it.
Well, instead of they call their sauce gravy, so you need to try their, I guess, the gravy. Even though I know in the Italian community they have a little bit of a disagreement about if it should be called sauce or gravy. I have no take. I'm not Italian. I shouldn't have a take.
One man who has plenty of sauce is PJ Haggerty. Let's jump into today's big idea. Big domino has fallen in the PJ Haggerty sweepstakes. He has committed to Kansas State, making that announcement on Tuesday this week. Haggerty was a second-team All-American at Memphis who jumped into the transfer portal while testing NBA draft waters. Put up about 21 points a game, was AAC Player of the Year as well. His NIL deal with Kansas State reportedly for $2 million. That's a good deal less than what he could have gotten with Memphis, or at least that's what we've been told. Gabe, did PJ make a misstep here, not coming back to Memphis or staying in the NBA draft?
Listen, man. Yes, he did. I don't think there's any other way of putting it. Maybe not to go to the NBA draft. I thought he always should have come back to college if he was being smart about his situation and where he would land in the NBA. Maybe late second round, likely undrafted free agent. So like the contract versus what he could get in college, just not the same. But the way he did Memphis through this process, I thought was kind of strange. He used them as a bargaining chip. As a way to negotiate with other teams just about every step of the way, whether it was Ole Miss or Kansas State or NC State. It just felt like he was using that Memphis $3 million number as a sticking point for teams to beat out that offer. Ultimately, when Memphis pulled back that offer, he didn't have that same leverage. So he ends up in a situation where he was asking for $4 million, and now he's getting about $2 million plus incentives that could get him to $2.5 million. I just think this is another example similar to the Nico Iamaleava situation, because what I do know to be true, based on the reporting I've read, is that PJ's dad has a big say in the way these things have run and where he ends up playing and how his offseason is going. So I think it's similar in the fact that he did not have an agent in his corner to really show him how to negotiate and how to find the amount of money that he wanted. So part of me feels bad for him, but at the same time, it just feels like a little too much dip on his chip. I guess that's the way I'll put it.
Maybe it's a little hard to feel bad for him, right? Because, I mean, from a year-over-year perspective, right, he's going to make a lot more money than he did this last year with Memphis. And, yes, from a Memphis negotiating perspective, he was going to get $3 million or somewhere in that area. It looked like NC State could probably match that or come a little higher, and they kind of bungled that situation. I agree with you. It did feel like they were using Memphis as kind of a bargaining chip, a leverage point, kind of most of this process of him trying to figure it out. And to PJ's point, I mean, from everything we were hearing was that he was really focused on the NBA draft. He wants to be an NBA player, and that's really where he had turned all of his attention from an individual perspective, and he was kind of letting his dad, people around him kind of handle the other, part of this with talking with schools. Nico Iamaleava, that situation I think is a perfect example because he ended up making less money than he was already making at Tennessee.
Right.
And I think with PJ here, it felt like you were never going to get that $4 million mark. It just never felt like that was going to be a realistic amount of money that any team could really want to give a guy on a college roster, regardless of whether it was going to be Power 4 or not. At the same time, you were looking at a situation where he also wanted to play point guard a lot more because we think that's what he's going to have to do in the NBA. And it felt like he was asking too much for, regardless of whether he was a second-team All-American or his ability to score, notwithstanding. I mean, he was also, to be a point guard, he turned the ball over a lot, and it just felt like that was never going to land.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Avery. Like, I talked about this on my show this week when we saw the commitment. Obviously, we were off on Memorial Day, so Tuesday, get back in, and I think he committed on Memorial Day, if I'm not mistaken, to Kansas State. I just look at the situation we have in college athletics and college football, college basketball. It feels like some guys, one, either move and change schools for the heck of it, or two, they leave the school that they're at with the idea that they're going to make more money, not the guarantee that they're going to make more money. The idea in their mind that they're going to make more money. And I don't know if that's the way to go about these things. I know that some people would immediately look at me and say, well, that's colluding. That's, that's that word, where people or coaches are coming in while you're still at a certain school. They're telling you how much money, blah, blah, but that happens every single day. This is how these things sort of work. And the agents or your dad or your handlers usually tell you, hey, even when you're at a certain school, this is the amount of money that is on the table for you there. So it just feels like a lot of these guys get into the portal hoping and praying they're going to get more money, not with the actual reality being that they're going to get more money. I understand PJ ends up with more money, but it was less than what was on the table for him at the University of Memphis. And I just find the whole situation strange. And we always talk about, with the transfer portal, guidelines, right? Like guardrails. How many times have you heard that? Guardrails.
Not really a thing.
and like, I think we do need some guardrails. And usually when people bring that up, it's about the university and the institution wanting to keep their roster together and understand what their roster is going to look like, year in, year out. But I think we also need guardrails for the agency space so kids can be protected from themselves and the people behind the scenes that are making decisions on their behalf. There just needs to be, there's got to be a better way to go about these things.
Quickly, let's get into the other side of this. Penny Hardaway's team, very guard-heavy right now, even without P.J. Haggerty. They could certainly use Dane Danger in the front court. Applied for that waiver back in April, still waiting on the results. We know he was a dynamic scorer and rebounder, especially towards the last half of the year. So far, Memphis has Ohio State's Aaron Bradshaw, South Dakota State's William Wharton in the front court. Gabe, neither of those guys necessarily offensive juggernauts. On a scale of 1 to 10, how bad do the Tigers need a Dane Danger?
Oh, God, 10. In my opinion. Okay. To be fair, I think in conference, even without him, they'll be fine. Out of conference is where you'll really struggle. You have a Purdue team that John Rothstein just put in his number one spot. Trey Kaufman-Ren's a hell of a big. They work the transfer portal for other bigs. Whether you have to play Texas Tech or what have you, like that out of conference schedule is not going to be any slouch, just like it wasn't last year. And you need a big that can really stick in there and be physical with another team. So I'll at least do a 9. I'll do a 9. This team right now, if you just look at the way it's put together, the front court is Aaron Bradshaw, Ashton Hardaway, William Wharton, who we don't know how he's going to look at this level. 3 points and 3 rebounds at South Dakota State. That's a hell of a step up. It's either those 3 guys or you play small. And I don't really know the ability this team is going to have to play small. I understand they have some bigger wings, Hassan Abdul-Hakim, Zachary Davis, guys like that. But, I mean, the way I put it is when you play small on a consistent basis, what do you need? You need really good shooting, and you need a lot of movement and structure to your offense. Similar, and I know this is a different sport almost altogether, but it's the NBA. But like the Golden State Warriors played small with that death lineup, and they were great with it. But what does their offense focus on? Bunch of off-ball movement and structure and three-point shooting. I don't know if this team quite has that. So it feels
also
like
not necessarily the style of Penny either.
Right. Now, could they get up and down and run? I mean,
Sure.
maybe that's the idea, but I think the necessity of Dane Danger is very out front and understood, and um, I think they're very reliant on him getting a waiver. So I guess we'll see. I know Penny is an eternal optimist. That's just sort of who he is, but it feels like a heck of a bet to bet on the NCAA granting a waiver for Dane Danger to get this team home.
We'll have to see what happens with that. Hopefully, Penny Hardaway gets this guy. Gabe, appreciate you joining the show. You can catch him every weekday 4 to 7 on 92.9 ESPN.
Yes, sir.
We are enjoying the summertime, but fall football is always top of mind. Coming up, I catch up with Fred Jones, founder of the Southern Heritage Classic, about next season's matchup. Stick around.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with ABC 24 and 24 Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on 24 Plus. The 24 Plus TV app, streaming 24/7 local news from the team you trust on your time.
Rain showers through the day today, and we're starting.
Track how the weather will impact your day.
Rain coming in tonight into tomorrow.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene. Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. 24 Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
Here comes our first batch of rain. Some severe thunderstorms and even several tornado warnings.
I think the bigger issue is going to be the wind gusts. So you start getting some branches knocked around. You could definitely see some power outages today. Those storms could pack a punch.
It's not just the thunderstorms, it's the fact that this low pressure is so strong.
It's how big that storm system was.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 24 Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. When news breaks, watch 24 Plus. See the story as it's happening. Be on the scene faster than ever before. Live updates from the team you trust. Stream breaking news on 24 Plus. Download free on your TV now.
Welcome back. The Southern Heritage Classic has been a staple of the fall at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium for over 30 years. But it's going through some changes with the addition of Alcorn State to replace Tennessee State this year. Earlier this week, HSC founder Fred Jones spoke with me about the changes to the matchup, but the heart of the HSC lives on. The founder of the Southern Heritage Classic, Mr. Fred Jones. Mr. Jones, appreciate you being on the 24th floor. The 36th year of the Southern Heritage Classic this year coming up between UAPB. And we've got a new player in the fold here in Alcorn State. Tell me what's new in this 36th edition of the Southern Heritage Classic.
Alcorn State and UAPB. That's the big change, and we're excited about that. But a lot of the things that people have grown accustomed to on all these years will still be the same, but the teams are different. They all got great bands. I mean, all of that stays the same, but just a new energy, and we're excited about it.
When you look on 36 years with running this classic, and certainly changes have come in the last several, like what sticks out to you the most about your time running this classic?
Really the consistency in spite of. We've had a lot of things that have impacted the classic, but we've been able to, steady the course and be able to present it under some extreme circumstances. But I think the fact that the fans have persevered with me and that's really a good thing. And that's a testament to the support that we've gotten from the community all these years.
For sure. When you look at the last couple of years, certainly some changes. You bring in UAPB to replace Jackson State, and then you bring in Alcorn State to replace Tennessee State. What was the process like bringing in Alcorn State this time? And then kind of what did you learn maybe from bringing in UAPB that helped you along with this process?
Well, I think the fact that we got 36 years, it's not like we're starting completely over. We have a track record of what to do and what not to do, what to expect, what the fans expect, there's things that you normally would do. We're changing teams, but we're still being able to maintain, But so again, it's a new day with the Classic, but we have a track record and a history that we can rely on to take us forward.
What was your relationship like with Alcorn State before this, and was there an establishing one that kind of helped this along?
No, I mean, you know about the teams in the SWAC, whether it was Jackson State all of these years, but you know about them, you know their history, who can Air McNair, who would not know who he was, who Alcorn State was. So it's been pretty seamless in terms of what we have to do. It's always a lot of work to go into the Classic, but again, I'm just glad that we were able to get it together to move forward for year 26.
And with it being UAPB and Alcorn State, this also means that this will be two SWAC teams going at it for the first time, a conference game. How does a conference game kind of up the ante of what the Classic means now?
You said it, and I want to clarify something. It was year 36. Mm-hmm. It really didn't change very much for us. We again, with relying on the experience that we've had all of these years, but it has an impact because it means something in the conference. So it adds a significance to that point. But in terms of the presentation and how we're going to look and the game itself, the Liberty Bowl Stadium, obviously there's been changes there, but it doesn't affect the game itself. So it's business as usual, but there are changes, and it's a new day, and we're excited about it.
We're talking about the city and how Memphis has really kind of embraced what the Southern Heritage Classic means. We know the mayor has kind of said, hey, this is something we want to keep in the city of Memphis regardless of if teams are changing. What has it been like to work with the city of Memphis and really Shelby County and making sure that this Classic continues in the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium?
Well, again, that's what I mentioned earlier. We have a tremendous level of support across the board, whether it's the government agencies or the business community or the community at large. They have always supported the Southern Heritage Classic. So again, we're giving them, I think the biggest thing that we had to settle for everybody that, yes, there's a Southern Heritage Classic this year, and it's Alcorn State and Arkansas Pine Bluff, and that's all everybody wanted. We got a Classic. We're 2 weeks later than we normally are, but it's still business as usual.
How much of tailgating is as much a part of the Classic as like the game itself is?
That's what has happened with the Classic. The parade is another instance of that is a part of the Classic. The fashion show that has been there since year 2 is a big part of the Classic, and that's the beauty of it. There's an established events within the Classic. So the only thing we really changing this year are the schools themselves, but the same energy and the camaraderie and all the elements that make up the Classic will be in full force.
All right, Saturday, September the 27th, that'll be the 36th edition of the Southern Heritage Classic between Arkansas, Pine Bluff, and Alcorn State. Appreciate Mr. Fred Jones, founder of the Classic, for being on the show.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to everybody really enjoying themselves. It's a new day, but it's a glorious day. So we all looking forward to it.
And we're looking forward to it here on ABC 24 as well. So we'll have more from that interview on Monday with a big announcement from Jones and the Southern Heritage Classic team. So stick around. Coming up, we still got some more to do here. Curtis Givens III spent 1 year in Baton Rouge, but the Memphis native is back and ready to rep for the Tigers. His thoughts on coming home, that's next.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with ABC 24 and 24 Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on 24 Plus. The 24 Plus TV app, streaming 24/7 local news from the team you trust on your time.
Rain showers through the day today, and we're starting.
Track how the weather will impact your day.
Rain coming in tonight into tomorrow.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene. Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. 24+, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
Here comes our first batch of rain. Some severe thunderstorms and even several tornado warnings.
I think the bigger issue is going to be the wind gusts. So you start getting some branches knocked around. You could definitely see some power outages today. The storms could pack a punch.
It's not just the thunderstorms, it's the fact that this low pressure is so strong.
How big that storm system was.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 24+. Download on your TV and watch for free. When news breaks, watch 24+. See the story as it's happening. Be on the scene, faster than ever before. Live updates from the team you trust. Stream breaking news on 24+. Download free on your TV now.
Curtis Givens is Memphis born and Memphis bred, and after spending one season in Baton Rouge, the prodigal son is returning to the Bluff City. He described to me the feeling of wearing the black and blue and what he hopes to do in the Tiger stripes. Take a listen.
Figuring out where to eat certainly won't be hard for new Memphis Tiger Curtis Givens III. After all, his pops owns several restaurants all around town.
I'm just trying to, provide for, the out-of-town guys, they have a, place to come eat, and just we can just build that bond, that chemistry, and for me to be able to do that, that's really big time.
Givens announced his commitment to the Tigers back on May 20th. It felt like something a long time coming. He's Memphis born and bred and spent his first 2 years of high school at Memphis University School before joining prep school Montverde Academy and spending his first year of college at LSU. Now it's all come full circle.
It's an amazing feeling, just being around all of my family and friends and meeting my new teammates and them just, welcoming me back home. It just feels amazing. When I was a little boy, I did have dreams of being a Memphis Tiger. Going to the FedEx Forum as a little kid, watching the Grizzlies, the grit and grind when they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and, going to the Memphis Tigers games, when I remember one game I went to where they played Houston and they upset them. That was just a really good big-time environment, and it's something that I can really see myself in.
Givens' Memphis ties go way back, but so do his ties to Penny Hardaway. Givens has known the former Tiger since he was 6 years old, even training with him growing up.
Even though, as I got older and stuff like that, he still continued to help me. He still was there for me. And even, when I chose LSU, he still kept the door open for me. And there was no, bad blood between us. The relationship stayed strong. And then when I got in the portal, he was one of the first to call.
Now he becomes the second homegrown Tiger to come back to Memphis this season, joining Julius Stedford as guys who are taking wearing the blue and black really personal.
Alex O'Max and Jeremiah Martin, those are the main two that come to mind for me. It's a great feeling for Julius and I, obviously, and we just want to set the tone for the young Memphis kids who have dreams and aspirations of being a Memphis Tiger.
And the thing he's looking forward to most.
Running out the tunnel, it's really a surreal feeling. It actually gives me goosebumps when I think about it. So I just can't wait for that moment and just to be able to leave a positive impact on the city. That's what I'm hoping to do.
The Women's College World Series is underway, and unfortunately for Ole Miss, they ran into arguably the best pitcher in the country. Jerry Kennedy pitched a complete game in a shutout in what became a pitcher's duel. Texas Tech beat the Rebels 1-0 for their first Women's College World Series win in program history. Ole Miss will play an elimination game against Oregon on Friday night at 8:30.
Obviously, Nyjah is tough. She's done that to a lot of people. She'll probably continue to do that. She'll do that to some other teams here, too. So give her credit for throwing a great game, but I was proud of the battle. We had our chance kind of in that sixth inning. Couldn't quite get one, but obviously it's double elimination, so we'll flip this page pretty quick like we've done in the past and get ready for our opponent tomorrow. But Nyjah threw a great game, and I thought Leah was incredible. Defense played great, just came down to probably one miscue and then just being able, not being able to get that one run up across the board.
Ole Miss baseball was given a number 10 national seed in the College World Series and will host a regional in Oxford beginning Friday. The Rebels 40-19 this season, returning to form after a couple of down seasons. 2-seed Georgia Tech, 3-seed Western Kentucky, and 4-seed Murray State will all visit Oxford to square off, hoping to advance to the Super Regional. Ole Miss gets Murray State 7 p.m. on Friday. We take a break, but coming up, we put a bow on the show with the best thing I saw this week, and it comes from an exclusive with Tigers head coach Penny Hardaway.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with ABC 24 and 24 Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on 24 Plus. The 24 Plus TV app. Streaming 24/7 local news from the team you trust on your time.
Rain showers through the day today, and we're starting.
Track how the weather will impact your day.
Rain coming in tonight into tomorrow.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene. Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. 24 Plus, complete coverage of your local news, weather, and more.
Here comes our first batch of rain. Some severe thunderstorms and even several tornado warnings.
I think the bigger issue is going to be the wind gusts. So you start getting some branches knocked around. You could definitely see some power outages today. Those storms could pack a punch.
It's not just the thunderstorms, it's the fact that this low pressure is so strong.
That's how big that storm system was.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on 24 Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. When news breaks, watch 24 Plus. See the story as it's happening. Be on the scene faster than ever before. Live updates from the team you trust. Stream breaking news on 24 Plus. Download free on your TV now.
The best thing I saw this week comes from our friend Kenneth Whalum from the Up From Here podcast. He has an exclusive interview with Memphis basketball head coach Penny Hardaway that we're going to give you an exclusive snippet of. Take a look.
I have heard you say on many occasions that when you got this job at University of Memphis, losing would affect you one way, what people said around you would affect you a certain way. At what point did you get to the place where it just didn't bother you as much as it bothered you in the past?
When I found out that how blessed I was, secondly, that it really didn't matter what they thought. I respect everyone's opinion, but it shouldn't matter to the point where it shuts me down. Because if it shuts me down, I can't be who I need to be for the people who I'm leading. You know, I have to lead. So when you lead, you cannot wallow in the sorrow of people just saying, hey, that's their opinion. When you realize everyone does have an opinion, how you receive it is different. So that's when I became okay with. People would come up to me all the time. Man, don't listen to social media. Don't listen to these people. I don't even hear it or read it, but even they would bring it, and I would go, man, God bless everybody, man. I love everybody. You know, you guys know how much I love my city and why I'm doing this, and then that made me be more comfortable with handling it.
That was head coach Penny Hardaway of the Memphis Tigers with Kenneth Whalum on the Up From Here podcast. We're going to have more on that interview on Monday, but if you can't wait, you can find it on the 24 Plus app right about now. So make sure you go check that out and check out all the things we have on the 24 Plus app. That's all I got on the 24 floor today. Thank you to Gabe Kuhn for joining the show. Thank you to Fred Jones of the Southern Heritage Classic for joining the show. And thanks to Jared Robinson for directing. That is my guy behind the scenes, making sure everything works the right way, all the things look good, and he makes me look good. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. I will see you